Yep, we're ready to go. Good evening. Welcome to the Monday, June 3rd, 2024 Wolfeboro Zoning Board of Adjustment. I'm Audrey Klein, Chairperson, Suzanne Ryan, Vice Chair, Sarah Silk, Clerk, Kate McMahon, Member, Jody Pearson, Member. We have two alternates, Chuck Sumner and Sabette Stroman. Tonight we have one case for a lot with no frontage. And Sarah, would you mind reading the case and then the site view minutes? Thank you.
Kathleen Harrington, project address is South Main Street, tax map number 260-090-000. Case number 09 SE24, type of application, special exception per 175-55.1, project single-family home construction on a lot with no frontage. Today at approximately 6:15, there was a site visit. Present were Chuck, Kate, Suzanne, Sarah, Audrey, and Sabette, and Jody was excused. We observed orange stakes that outlined a triangular point near the existing house to the right, and we observed additional orange stakes that appeared to show the edge of a parking lot near the existing house. It appears to be a 1/3 acre lot. The house and the septic system, according to the drawing we have, appear to be at the very far left as you drive up the hill. There was no representative present at the time for the applicant.
Okay, so I have a few questions for the town planner. So this special exception was, there was a special exception granted to this property 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago, and special exceptions expire within 2 years unless they've been exercised. So looking at the former paperwork, the special exception that was granted earlier, there's supposed to be a driveway access site plan approved by the appropriate public safety officer. There's an endorsement for the town's acknowledgement regarding issuance of a building permit, with numbers 5, 6, and 7. Don't we have those in the file from the original approval?
The original approval never went for a state driveway permit, so it's not a town driveway permit, it's a state right-of-way permit. They never went that far with it. In fact,
appropriate public safety officer, I remember talking about this in the meeting, and we were looking for, in order to, these were basically conditions of approval, seems
correct.
to me. Was 6 and 7 ever completed?
Yes, they did sign that form and that was recorded, yes.
So do we have copies of those in the file?
And maybe in the previous file, not in the current application. The current applicant did not include.
In the property file, shouldn't we have those, though? I mean, the previous file with this approval has all the paperwork that was filed with this application from before. Shouldn't it? I mean, does it? My question is, was this approval ever completed?
In my opinion, no. They never got a state driveway permit and the property changed hands within months of the board's approval.
Well, we'll just put that aside because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking, did they endorse the town's acknowledgement regarding eligibility for subdivision approval? Did they do number 5, 6, and 7? And
again, 5 they did not do, 6 and 7 they probably did do. But that is property owner specific, and 6 and 7 would have to be redone should the board approve it, and I would recommend
I don't even want to go there yet. What I'm saying is the paperwork with the original approval
was never completed because 5 was never done.
And 6 was never done, and 7 was never done.
I just said I believe 6 and 7 were done, but they never did 5. So effectively the permit.
They were done, but they were never filed.
No, 6 and 7, I believe, were recorded with the notice of decision. That's simply a revised form that includes both of those. 6 and 7 really,
Where is the notice of decision?
The-
You have one?
Yes, I do. And 6 and 7 are supposed to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds, and they're not.
No, we're not open
Use your
public
mic.
yet. I will
Use your
open
mic.
for public comment, but right now I'm trying to figure out the process, what happened with the process. Thanks.
The number 4 was done, and that is recorded at the registry.
We also have that in the present deeded right of access because it's changed ownership. I mean, that was submitted with this packet, I believe.
correct.
The notice of decision is recorded at the Registry of Deeds, along with the easement and the new deed, but 6 and 7 are not recorded at the Registry of Deeds. And these weren't done.
Yes, 6 and 7.
So the precedent, the conditions precedent should be in the file, because that means before the approval, we should have had these.
Right. What I'm telling you is they weren't done. The property changed hands. They never did them.
But this would have been precedent to the original approval. Had nothing to do with now. It has to do with when this was approved, precedent
I'm lost in the
conditions.
confusion. They never happened. The approval isn't there.
All right, well, that's something completely different than what the planner's description here says.
Well, no, not really, because it was approved. You never satisfied the condition, so it expired.
These are precedent conditions. They have to be done before the approval, which means they should have been done before we even heard this case. Not this case, the previous case, right? Isn't that what precedent means?
That's what precedent condition of approval means, yes. Before you get a building permit, you do those things. Not before the board acts, because if that were the case, you wouldn't have acted, and you did.
That makes no sense because this is a driveway access, which is one of the requirements that we have to ask for.
Well, then I would suggest you not take jurisdiction of this until the applicant
I'm not
recites
asking
a
you what
driveway
we do
permit.
now. I'm asking you where this stands before. And right now, I have no idea. What do you think?
Well, I think that there's been 2 years to meet these precedent conditions.
And they haven't happened,
As
correct?
well as the conditions of approval. Now, my question to Tavis is, whereas you asked for a site visit, which I just barely caught on the agenda, I didn't realize there was a site visit. A site visit, did you advertise this hearing tonight in the paper?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out, in your mind, are you treating this as a new application?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It has to be, right? I mean,
Wait a
it's
minute,
expired.
I'm not done, I
Okay.
haven't finished my question. So, with a special exception under 674-41, we are allowed to extend an expired one, for the lack of another term.
I'm not sure if you can
For
extend
for
one that's
cause.
expired.
Tavis, we can extend one that's been
We can
exercised.
extend a special exception under 674-41 for cause.
Yes.
We all have to figure out what cause is. So my question to the board and to you, you just said this is a new application. I'm wondering if we can't just extend the one that we already have approved and reiterate the conditions that are pertinent and very important to this application, rather than starting from square one all over again.
So can I speak to that? Instead of him? Like, I don't want him to answer that
Well,
question.
but he did answer the question. He's treating this as a new
Right,
application.
but it's not his decision whether to
Well, but no, I
extend it.
asked him that question
Okay.
because the board has to decide.
Yes.
Do they want to treat it as a new application, Or do they want to just extend it for 2 years under 674-41 for good cause? You've got two choices.
No, but there's two parts of that.
All right, tell me your second part.
So this is, we can extend the special exception if it's been exercised. We can extend the special exception.
Which it hasn't been.
Well, I disagree with that, but never mind that, we can argue that later. But these conditions under the road frontage need to be reevaluated because these are not special exceptions. These are a different section of the zoning. So even though we can extend the special exception, we still have to go through those.
But if I were to make a motion or I were to vote on extension, I would make it conditioned upon the very conditions that we
Exactly.
have previously set.
Yep.
I'm not going to try and
The
reinvent
conditions of,
the previous application.
but these conditions
And-
these conditions are not special exception conditions.
There are conditions. They're the conditions we said must be met for you to get an approval.
Conditions.
If they didn't like that, they could have appealed that decision, and they didn't.
No, I'm losing your thought train on that. So let's start one piece at a time. State law says that a special exception, if it's been exercised, can be extended, right? And the special exception criteria are not these, but all the other ones, which are located.
On page 2 of Tavis's memo.
No, they're not on there.
Yeah, they are.
No, these are not the special exception criteria. That's the lot with no frontage criteria. It's
This is a lot with no frontage.
They have to meet both.
Yeah, and so they did, between that and this, they did.
These are not the special exception criteria.
No, but these are things that should have been done at the time of
Yeah,
application.
but that's right, but those are for the road frontage. They're not for the special exception. So when we heard that, we heard both, all of these that she answered, plus we went through those. There's two different parts of it.
Right, but
So let me finish.
Go ahead.
So the ones that she filled out here for the special exception, we don't have a listing there. She's going to read through these. These are the ones that can be extended if they were exercised, but we still have to make sure these ones are met. Like we still have to have the deed, we still need to have,
well, we do.
okay, and that might be true. I'm just trying to point out that there are two different zoning sections, and we have to decide on each of those. So if we extend it,
I
it's,
think it can be decided cumulatively in one action. 175-55 is a state law for frontage.
this one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one that we have because
Oh,
we
no.
exempt
674-33 is the state law.
674-33 is for special exceptions.
Is the special exception with the 2-year extension.
Right. But for instance, we have those special exception criteria, but the section, the ones for the site with no frontage, we still have to make sure that this owner complies with the lots with no frontage section.
You know, you're saying the same thing I'm saying. If we treat this...
I'm not hearing from you that
Well,
that's the
if we
case.
treat this as an extension with conditions of both criteria, we've covered all the bases. That she's got to do X, Y, and Z for the special exception, she's got to do X, Y, and Z for lots with no frontage.
So if we're-
And make it all one big motion and one big action.
If we can extend this, if we can extend this because it's been exercised, we don't have to go through these. We don't have to hear all the special
But it
exceptions.
hasn't been exercised.
No, put that aside because we're going to argue that. I'm trying to get the process here. If we extend this because it's been exercised and it's in place, we don't have to go through the special exception criteria.
Right.
We already have approved that.
I'm
She
not
doesn't-
wanting to go through that.
Okay, so-
I'm wanting to go through this.
I agree.
And this. This and this.
Yeah.
That's all.
So do you agree that if this is extendable, we don't have to go through these 9 criteria in here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make the
I
point.
wanna go-
Yeah, hang on a sec, let's make sure everybody understands what I just said.
I want to go
No,
through,
no, I want to see if,
Well, I just wanted to understand earlier, one of you disagreed about, has this been exercised yet?
we haven't made that argument yet.
Okay, that's what I was waiting for.
So my point was, either it's been exercised or it hasn't. If it hasn't, we have to go through the special exception criteria.
well, all
Can you
right.
let me finish? If it has, we don't have to, because we already approved this, and we're just extending it. But,
Okay, so then it comes down to the degree that it's been exercised. It's been exercised in that, got a new septic approval. It's been exercised because they did record the deed, and they did record the notice of decision. That's at the registry of deeds. So to what degree is it going to satisfy you that it's been exercised?
I'm satisfied because, well, and here's the argument. So let's start the new discussion on, has this been exercised or not? And I went and I looked up the word exercised, because we know that the word vested is used all the time. But if they meant vested, they would have said vested. They didn't. They said exercised. And exercised is something less than vested. It's
It's what I
just what you just said. And I did find an article with a court case that talked about exercising. It's a variance, but it's the same idea. And just sufficient steps to exercise the rights, resulting expenditures that were made, at least in part, to satisfy the condition of the approval. And I think that's what's been done. She's paid for an updated septic plan, and these other items that you've mentioned.
Well, and the previous owner, has recorded the notice of decision, they've gotten the deed, septic design has been upgraded. There are still outstanding issues, but that's why I said, to what degree do you
Yes.
feel it's been exercised?
So what I would like to do is make a decision by the board as to whether we believe we can extend the original special exception or not. That's our first decision. And then make sure that we have covered everything in the one you're looking at.
Well, I'm looking at both of these. I'm looking at the notice of decision that previously existed, and then I'm looking at 175-55, the memo lots with no frontage.
Right,
'Cause
and
those-
neither of those are the special exceptions. So what I want to do is make a decision on whether we have to hear the special exception again. And I personally don't think we do. I think we can extend it.
So are you looking for a motion then? A motion
No,
that just,
I want to make sure that everybody understands and has any other comments.
well, you want a matter of record
Besides
that you have
Suzanne.
agreed that it has been exercised and the special exception can be extended.
I would like us to decide whether that's true or not,
Yeah.
and then go into those other ones.
You want to do that by way of a motion or just
Well, I
a
think-
show of hands?
Hang on. Do you have anything else to say?
No,
Do you have any questions?
Chuck and I are voting, so I'm just,
Oh, that's right.
I'm listening, so-
Jody, do you have any questions about that?
Not really. I mean, it sounds like we're gonna try to do an approval, but then we gotta have some provisions that weren't met. What, driveway was driveway met?
You know, I don't know the answer to that, because the special exception part, that's not in the special exception, that's
Oh,
in the
okay,
lot with no
okay,
frontage.
so
Yeah.
I'm on board with this,
Okay.
especially
So
exception's
can I
been
have a
met.
motion
Well,
that,
wait a minute. Let's clarify for the record why we feel that the special exception has been exercised to a degree,
yes,
which is,
because these are
One.
findings of fact.
notice of decision has been recorded at Carroll County Registry of Deeds. 2, the deeds have been recorded at Registry of Deeds. 3, the easements are all in place at the Registry of Deeds. 4, a revised septic plan or a new septic plan, I'm not sure if it's revised or septic. 4,
It's updated.
updated septic plan.
So let me just say, you know, if any of the regulations had changed in between this period, then we would be having a much more difficult discussion.
Well, let's not go down there. We've
But
got
they
enough
haven't.
on our plate right now.
Right.
So I can't think of any more than those 4. Do you have any? I've got the
no.
things that
I think
weren't
those-
done.
Yeah, I think those are 4 reasons why this has been exercised.
So is that a motion?
Yes. You want to second it?
I can't.
You can't.
No.
I'll second it.
Second?
Yep.
Jody, second.
Yep.
Yes, vote? Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
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 Okay. So we extended the special exception. Now we have to go through the paperwork and see that these other things
No,
are met.
no, we
The
didn't
notice of
extend it.
decision.
Yeah, we did.
We said it doesn't have to be gone through again.
We
That
said,
we're
said
treating
we-
this as a new application,
No.
but not a special exception application.
No, we-
We're
Okay.
treating it as a
So
lot
This
with
is-
no frontage application.
just for clarification, all Suzanne went through was 4 reasons why it had been exercised. Was that a motion to extend the previous approval?
Special exception
yes.
under section 174-33 4B.
Because none of that was in the motion. So realistically, you just reaffirmed the last notice of decision for another, how long? You didn't say.
Well, I guess I'm assuming it's 2 years, but I guess we get to pick.
No, we don't get to pick.
Is
The
it
law
2 years?
says 2 years.
Okay.
So the
2
previous
years.
notice of decision is good for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you don't really have to do
2 years from the
anything
date of
else.
final approval, or as further extended by local. I don't think it says, but I think 2 years is reasonable.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't pick. We haven't picked. We've done these before, and we'll
Right.
send them for the,
Okay.
what the statute says.
So now you're saying, Suzanne, that we need to go through this road with no frontage thing and make sure it meets these in order to have a full approval.
Okay.
Right, that's one,
Okay.
what is that, 175?
Madam Chair, I have some questions before we go too much
175,
further along with this. Okay. When we have all of this, I think we're moving on to all these conditions here that were on the previous notice of decision. So I guess maybe this is a Tavis question. When this notice of decision goes out and it has conditions on it, no one ever follows up to see if the conditions are met?
All of the conditions need to be
I
met.
can't hear you.
All of the conditions need to be met for them to get a building permit.
All of the conditions seems to be met, but what?
Or they get a bill.
In order to get a building permit.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not what this says.
But the thing that I am really puzzled by is that this applicant went to a Realtor, she went to, she got some kind of a deed, she went to the planning department, and she went to a number of different places that are supposed to have documents relative to this lot, and the Realtor never seemed to discover this. I don't know whether she had title search or not, and no one in the planning office here mentioned that you have a special exception that is expiring in a matter of moments after she came in. And why is this not brought forth? The information's not in the file for that one particular lot, or there are too many files that are bifurcated, and unless you go to 3 different places or 4 different places or whatever, no one ever gets the full picture.
I never met this current applicant until the most recent time she came in asking how to submit a building permit. When I spoke to the building official, I was made aware of a conversation that happened sometime October, November, where it was brought up. I can tell you I've spoken to 3 or 4 real estate agents on every transfer of this property and brought them up to speed on the special exception and the expiration thereof. The real reason it's here tonight is this board, I could not find a record of, has ever acted on whether it's been exercised or not.
Now, that's not a question for you. I think her
I'm not
question...
asking it to be a question for me.
Okay, so please don't
So-
comment on that. then.
So That's
Please,
exactly why
don't-
we're here.
Yeah, but I don't want you to comment on that, because we've already talked about that.
Right,
The
and you've
question
acted
is-
on it, so
the
now we can move
question
forward in the
is-
future.
The question is, when there's a zoning decision of any kind, it doesn't appear as if it's obvious in the files that something's happened and there's a decision on a piece of property. So the question is, why is that? Is that your question? How come, why is it set up so that you don't know that something's happened?
I was just, excuse me, I was just astonished that she got through the process of trying to buy a piece of property and nobody discovered this, or if they discovered it, didn't feel that they had, in good faith, any reason to let this person know about this constriction on this lot. And I'm trying to figure out where it is that it should have popped up and why it didn't.
Audrey?
That's my
Hang on.
question, Audrey.
I'm
Well, I
sorry.
haven't got an answer.
I didn't, I
I'm
just
waiting for an
asked you
answer. Oh, yeah, I'm done with my question, but I don't have an answer yet.
Well, you probably won't.
Okay?
All right, can I go next or no?
Hang on a second.
It's relevant to what she's talking about.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, the notice of decision with precedent and subsequent conditions was put on file at the Registry of Deeds 8/5/22. This poor woman has had lousy representation from her title search company,
Yeah.
from her real estate agent. That should have all been discovered, as these things were needed before you get a building permit. Not just the town of Wolfeboro. Now, I will say the town of Wolfeboro is probably 1/3 responsible for not being able to answer her when she walked in the office. But
Would have flagged
2/3 of that problem is with, as I said, the real estate agent. The title search company should have picked that up. It's right here, stamped on the top of the notice decision. It's filed right over at the county. They should have said to you, you've got 1, 2, 3 to do, and maybe 1 through 5 to do. They didn't do that. So if there's only so much we can do because they didn't do that. Your beef is mostly with them, partially with the town.
Yep, we can't,
No,
we'll let you speak
So-
when we open the hearing. We're still arguing amongst ourselves here. But that's a good point. I mean, it was registered there. How come that didn't come up? It should also be very obvious in the town files. There's 2 ways of keeping files. I've worked in several jurisdictions.
This is in the file. This
Hang on.
is in the file.
Which file? The zoning
The
file?
building file.
The building file?
Probably in the there's going to be a folder just like this in the zoning
I
file.
was just going to say, there's 2 ways towns keep files. This town keeps a zoning file, a planning file.
Yeah, and I don't know
Ma'am,
why.
Can I finish?
No,
And a building file, and they're kept in separate files.
I don't know why. I agree.
I'm not talking to you, I'm
agreeing.
talking to these people. I know you already know. So can you let me finish? They're kept in different file cabinets. So when Jason, the building official, goes and looks at the building file, unless he goes to the other cabinet and gets the zoning file and the other cabinet and gets the building file, he may not have the whole story. Other towns put them all together, zoning, planning, building, in one file folder, in one file cabinet. You pull the whole thing and it's all there. So that's a difficult thing for looking up whatever happened to a property. Not to
Is
mention,
is that historically what
Yes.
what
That's
Tavis?
always been that way.
use your mic,
Oh.
please. You
I
know,
was
the
just
TV
wondering
people
if that
can't
was
hear you.
historically what Tavis inherited.
yes, that was the way it was
So
when I was here.
as a note to self, maybe if there's a way to change that system.
Well,
You know, you could have a master file for this lot, and if you want individual subfolders, one for zoning, one for planning, and one for
Exactly.
building, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
But-
how it's set up. But the other thing, since that's not going to change, and probably we'll all be dead before that system changes, I think the staff should know already to pull all 3 files when somebody comes in. That's the only way they're going to have as much information as they can get.
Instead of asking which file do you want, and you don't know,
Right.
you want them both. Honestly, I didn't know they were kept in 2 separate files.
Three,
I always
three,
would go
three.
for the zoning. Yeah, so, the other thing that always was typically done, when these things are about to expire, whether it be a variance or a special exception, when the 2 years is about to expire, it's on the computer. It should pop up like maybe 30 days before. And Hausman used to have, because I asked him once, how the heck do you know? You get so many cases that are approved out there. How do you know which ones are coming up for expiration in 2 years? He says, because I put it in my computer when it's approved, and then it will pop up when it's
It's a
time
tickle file.
to take action. So do you have that now, or did you not get that when you came on?
That's not something the town is responsible for doing. It's up to the property owner.
That's not her question. I understand that legally the town doesn't have to do
So
that. It's a
let me
matter of
rephrase it
service.
for you. No, there is no statutory requirement to remind applicants of their
So
approval.
again, we know that. It's not the town's legal responsibility. The question is, it's a service item. And an item that's set up in order for things to run smoothly. It's not a legal requirement. Was your question, was it a legal requirement, or do you
No,
have
that
a
wasn't
system?
my question. My
Right.
question was, do we have it in the system? It always used to be in the system. It was in the system.
And so the answer is no.
No, there is no, we don't
Okay.
create records that are not required, correct?
No, we didn't ask for the second part. Can you just say yes or no? Do you have that tickle system
Yes, I
set up?
can.
Do you have that tickle system set up?
No.
No. Okay, fine. Thank you.
All right.
Now, will you open at some point the public hearing so that this poor woman can
Yes.
speak?
Does anybody else have anything to say?
We'll probably have more after she speaks.
I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anybody here that wants to speak in favor of this application? Please go to could you please turn on the mic for her if
Should
it's
be
not
on.
on? And tell us who you are. It should be on? No, it's not on.
Not on.
Not yet.
Getting there.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll leave it like that. The thing that I'm confused about is I just received another tax bill, and it's like a buildable lot, that I'm getting my tax bills and I'm paying them, and I just gave a check to the water department for $6,000. That was cashed. We're all ready to go. My guy's ready to start June 10th. I got everything lined up, and so that's where the confusion is. It's like the check has been cashed, the water department's ready to go, the septic, I have everybody, and I just got my tax bill. So if it's not a buildable lot, I'm confused. Why would I get a tax bill?
Because
can't
you're
answer
listed
that.
as the owner, most likely.
Pardon me?
Because you're listed as the owner, most likely.
Okay, but if it's not a buildable lot, I would get a tax bill for a non-buildable lot?
Probably very much lower.
Do you want to tell your story from the beginning, maybe?
That's what I tried to write you all.
Do you want us to read that into the record?
Sure, but I can go over it. I mean, as you can see, I'm older, and I just want to be closer to services, and I own a beautiful home in Sandwich that I just recently sold. I closed April 19th. I have an legal in-law apartment, so that was contingent to me moving downstairs while I had my house built. I have, I can pass this around if you'd like.
No, you just have to realize that the people at home don't know what we have. And so if you just give a nice little review, that's helpful.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to write it all a letter because I thought there was going to be a full room and I was going to take up all this time, so I'll gladly go over it again if you'd like, but that was the situation. It's very small, just a one-bedroom, and it's going to be beautiful, the landscaping, and I'm just real excited about it. And I'm actually my own general contractor. I can't believe I'm actually organizing this myself, and it's coming along perfectly. And that's what happened. I came in to get my building permit. I have an excavator. He's excellent, excellent references, really great reputation. He's all ready to go June 10th. He wants to do the septic, all the excavation, and my foundation. I have my framing guy. We're all ready to go. And that's what happened. And I was floored, because nowhere along the line, and I thought when I came in as due diligence, when he says that it's up to me to know, where would I find that information?
Yep, we don't disagree with you. I mean, I think the law requires the owner to know everything about their lot, but, you know, the town assists as much as possible. And, oh, yeah, thank you.
Who is your realtor?
My
do we have to go
oh,
through?
it was, actually, I had to fire her. We did work together, and she gave me this small piece of paper, and then I had to do all my own work myself.
I was
came
looking
in-
for a name.
What was her name?
Yes. Or the company.
It was Roche Realty, and I did let her go. Because she came in with just a faded piece of paper, and I said, I can't make a decision. I can't sell my house. I have to make sure this is a buildable lot. I came in and did all my due diligence, and I talked with Terry, and she gave me a poster size.
Yeah, well, I guess, do you want to read this word for word into the record, anybody?
I'll read it.
I think what's pertinent, other than, you know, she's alone with her dog, which I can appreciate. What is pertinent here is I came across this property in Wolfeboro. I was working with a realtor. My offer was contingent to this being a buildable lot that lays right with the real estate company and the title company. It was in your written agreement with them. And so here you sit.
Well, getting
Because
back at
there's
that.
things that still have to be done before you get a building permit.
But when I went to the closing, there is a deed on this property. It is landlocked, but I have a deeded access. It's all on my deed. So when I saw all that, to me, it's all a buildable lot.
No, because this document was recorded at the registry. They should have shown that to you.
And that's what's saying it's a buildable lot or not a buildable lot. I don't get it.
No, it says there's things that need to be done.
It's saying there are things that have to be done to get a building permit.
Yeah, I should have probably brought my...
Madam Chair, would you like me to read that document you asked me to read?
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay.
I think we should read it.
This is a document that was mailed individually to all the members of the ZBA dated May 19th, 2024. If I may give you an overview of my experience in writing to all concerned, as I am not a great public speaker and I may become overly emotional as this has been beyond devastating to me. I have recently been denied a building permit for the property located on South Main Street, Wolfeboro, map 260, lot 90, book 3749, page 524. I owned a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a legal in-law apartment in the town of Sandwich, New Hampshire. As I am a senior citizen, I live alone with my dog. I found the upkeep challenging to maintain, and with it being in a country setting far removed from local services, I opted to downsize and build a small, 1-bedroom, 1-bath home with close proximity to local services. I searched for a small piece of land for about 9 months. I came across the property in Wolfeboro. I was working with a realtor. My offer was contingent to this being a buildable lot. I also did my due diligence with the town office and obtained an expired septic design and was reassured by the planning and development employees, I choose not to use any names, that this property was a buildable lot. I decided to move forward. No one at any time advised me to make sure I get my building permit in prior to March 2024, or after that date, I would need to plead my case before the planning board. I paid my taxes, I had the septic design updated, paid $6,000 to the water department for town water, and no one ever said anything about the March 2024 deadline. I chose to sell my house with the stipulation that I could do a lease back where I built my home in Wolfeboro. They agreed till December 2024. After the closing, April 19th, I got right on it and made many trips to achieve numerous estimates. I decided on a licensed gentleman that could do all the excavation, septic, foundation. The one concern was he only had one slot of time in mid-June to work on my property. This was the end of April, beginning of May. I talked to both Terry and Jason and was told that a building permit would take about a month. I had all my paperwork and people lined up. I made an appointment in mid-May with Jason to come in and pay my impact and my building permit fees. That's when Jason said my building permit was denied, and I would have to come before the board. This was a major gut punch, as I have invested my life savings to purchase this property. I just want to downsize to a one-bedroom, one-bath home, 840 square feet, so I can enjoy the last chapters of my life in the beautiful town of Wolfeboro. Thank you so much for your time. Sincerely, and it's signed by the applicant.
That's it.
Thank you. Anybody here want to speak in opposition to this application? No, okay. Have we heard everything we'd like to hear from the applicant? Can I close the public hearing? I'd like to close the public hearing. So these items that are listed on the notice of decision and in 155-57.1 all need to be met.
What did you say, Audrey? Where are you?
The notice, the items for the road with no frontage, 155.
It's on the back of the warranty deed page.
It's a notice of decision from the 14th of March in 2022, next to last paper in our packet.
Okay.
So,
Wait a minute, Audrey. Could I please, before you start going
Yep.
through that, bring something to your attention?
Mm-hmm.
That on the 17555 that we got as our memorandum, go to the second page, the back side of that, and you will see that numbers, wait a minute, 5, 6, and 7 are the same as numbers 1, 2, and 3. I made that motion, that's where I got that from, to put in the motion of the decision.
5 are the same as 1, 2,
5,
and
6,
3.
and 7.
Okay, yep,
Those are the same. So
right.
I don't see any reason that those go away.
No, they don't. They still have
No,
to be
I'm
made.
just saying,
Okay.
if we move to approve this conditioned upon, I would strongly urge that we keep those 3 precedent.
Yes, precedent to the issuance of a building permit.
Right.
Yep,
And then under the subsequent, most of those are not relevant, other than it's kind of like the boilerplate one that's on the back of Tavis's page 2, 1, 2, and 3. If we get the
Right.
same, we get the same one? Yeah.
yep.
And the one thing that, Sabette, you were on this, I don't know if you voted, but you made a suggestion, and that number 5
Yes.
was, the property shall be limited to construction of single-family dwelling. So I would add that as a new number for tonight.
It's already on here,
But this is the
No,
old
no, we're making
approval.
a whole new motion.
okay?
So some of the things on the previous approval were completed and some weren't. We want to make sure the ones that weren't completed get completed prior to the building permit and stay with this approval
Right.
going forward.
Correct.
Do we know how long reinstating these precedent conditions, how long it will take for the applicant to comply with them,
Yes.
to get her building permit, to meet the deadlines that she has for construction?
No, we got 2 years. She's got 2 years.
Well, no, number 2 and
No.
3 should be immediate because they're just endorsements on forms that the building office should have. So number 1, driveway access.
And I was careful how I worded that.
What?
I was
Oh.
careful how I worded that.
So I'm assuming there's already an approval from the DOT because there's already a driveway? There's no approval?
No. And that was something that initial hearing, I was very specific to talk about because it's very important. The state is very strict about issuing access, even though there's something there. Once you change something on the site and go back for a new application, they're going to require that you have safe site distance,
That's
400
right.
feet, both directions unobstructed. And the gentleman that owned that property before you, there was a big discussion about flaring the bottom of that driveway to open it up for good egress onto the state road. And he said he was gonna remove the tree and remove some big
Right.
boulder and all that.
I think in order to, is clearly in order to have somebody turning in when there's somebody pulling out because of the amount of traffic on that road, they're going to probably require something at the end of the driveway, yes.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I
So-
remember a big boulder on the right-hand side of that driveway, looking up the driveway, and it's not there now, so it has been removed.
Oh, okay.
That was a landmark, and I was looking for that landmark tonight, and it's gone.
Well, they might have to I know towns require, I don't know what the state requires for that flare down at the bottom, but 30 feet, and that's not 30 feet, that opening.
So this says the applicant shall coordinate as required. So I read this to reach out to them right away and find out what they're going to need you to do. It doesn't say you have to do it before the building permit is done.
But I made it precedent.
You said applicant shall coordinate.
But I say precedent
Yeah.
to the building permit.
You coordinate prior, not build prior.
Right.
Okay.
You don't want to be building and then find out you can't do these things.
No, but they can be, we already closed the public hearing, so not really.
There's already another house there.
Well, see, so the state, as more traffic goes up that driveway, they're going to look at it and go, your neighbor's going to be trying to pull in, and you're going to be right there trying to pull out. You guys need a little bit more room, because otherwise, the
Someone's gonna
traffic
hit you.
flying down the hill has all got to stop and wait for one of you to do something. So,
So Audrey, you're saying, so she can get the building permit before this is done or completed, but she needs to be aware that if they push back and if the state,
Well, I would say that
Department DOT doesn't approve it, and she has already started building, then that's going to be an issue.
right, but I think she could, what I'm saying is not just be aware of it, but actually make contact with them, have an appointment for them to come out, as the building permit process is proceeding, because it needs to be approved, right? That building
But she
permit
needs
has
to be aware there could be quite a cost involved
Yes.
in extending that driveway to meet
Yes.
the sidelines.
Yes.
So there could be an additional
Yeah,
cost there.
There could be a cost there. So you need to talk to the state, because that's all state right-of-way.
I can't do anything.
If
Let's reopen, I move to reopen the hearing so that the
Okay.
applicant can speak.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to take the vote on that.
Yes,
Oh, sometimes.
Yes.
reopen the hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
My dilemma right now is that I have somebody lined up. He can start like June 10th. He told me that he's got like about 3 weeks there, about 2 to 3 weeks to do all the work. After that, he's not going to be available till like October, November.
So is he
all these
doing-
other people that I have lined up, they
I
won't be
get
able to do
it.
their job. So for this to hold me up, for it's like the whole thing's a bust.
So is he the same one who's going to do all of the work, including any driveway work you need?
Well, he's going to be doing all the water line.
Which is coming from where?
We're gonna tie it into the house next to us, so that's all been approved from the water department. I just paid the $6,000. I talked to the supervisor there.
Okay, so you don't have to go under the state right-of-way for the water line?
No.
Okay.
We already went through that. That was a nightmare. He said, no, we would have to get police detail and all that. I said, no, that's not gonna happen. So he's already figured that out. So he's all ready to go. So if I have to stop everything and I can't get a building permit before that, to get that, whatever you want, at the end of the driveway, it's gonna,
Yes?
If you do this without getting state driveway access approval, you do it at your own risk. If you build that house and the state says, we're not going to allow you to widen that driveway, you're stuck. It behooves you to get in your car Tuesday morning and go up to Concord and find out how you get that driveway permit, ASAP.
Right.
So I got to go to Concord to get that?
Yep,
You have to go to, you have to go to DOT, the local DOT, right?
they don't do the driveway permits.
They don't?
No, you got to go to Concord.
They don't come out and look at it?
Well, they'll send somebody, but,
Right.
but you have to make an appointment.
Okay.
So I have to completely widen this whole driveway for 2 vehicles?
We don't
Maybe or
know.
maybe not, but if they do say you have to, then you need to be aware that there's a significant expense, or if they say there's nothing you can do, and you've started building, then that's a problem.
So can I,
We're just trying to give you a heads up.
well, I look at it like, can I get this done within a week?
They are going to lay out, correct me if I'm wrong, Tavis, but they are going to lay out what they want in their easement right away. They don't care what happens after, if it's, say, 20 feet from the edge of the road. They don't care what happens up on your site, other than if you increase the traffic. But they're going to lay out what they want from you for a plan at the end of that driveway, whether they want a big flare or no flare, or they want you to cut the trees all down on both sides. That's their land. That's their easement. They're going to tell you what to do and how to do it.
Okay, but that only goes like, what, 20, 30 feet in? Because I think I can get my guy to do that.
Well, but you don't just get a guy to do that. You got to get state approval
Oh, I know,
to do
but
that.
if it's like, I know, when you say it's a large expense, I think if it's only like 20, 30 feet and it's just a flare, I think that's
I
something.
wouldn't do anything
Oh, I'm not
until
saying that. I
the
just, when
state
she
tells
mentioned
you.
this is going to be a real expense, that's when you think, well, when, I mean, you see the property.
You may be lucky where there's already something there, but I suspect because there's an additional house with additional traffic going in the back part of that easement, they're going to require something more of you than what you see there tonight.
Because they probably never approved that first one, because it was probably prior to whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, the question,
I
But-
think you can.
but to your-
do it
to your
at the same
point,
time.
To
But
your
you need to get
point,
that
if you've
done.
got your excavator guy there, and now's the time to do it, and it is a really hard spot to get in and out of, to your point, it might make sense for your own safety to change that a little bit. It's not going to hurt you with DOT.
Well,
But
She
you
can't
don't
do the work.
change anything without the state telling you you can.
You can't change
It's a
the
state-
driveway?
It's state property.
That's state property there.
Where do I go? Where do I go in
I would
Concord?
go to Concord. I
It's
would
what, it's
look
called the DOG?
The state
DOT.
highway.
Department of Transportation.
Okay, Department of Transportation, I'll do it tomorrow.
You should.
Yeah.
Tavis can give you, you give her all the information she needs where she has to go.
And you're really looking at probably 20, 30 feet, just a nice flare.
I don't know, I'm just throwing that out as a maybe. They're going to tell you
Yeah,
what
we're
to
just
do.
trying to help you. We're just trying to help you
appreciate
here.
that. I mean,
You know,
this is,
this isn't
Your
a
guy
normal
might
part
be
of
real
it.
familiar with this already, hopefully, if he's
well, I got a call that they
experienced.
wanted the water line, we had to tear up the whole road and get police, and what are you talking, I mean, I could see if this was overlooking a nice lake here. I mean, you see the property, I'm just looking for a small house.
Right, but they're looking at safety going into
Right.
your driveway, and there is an issue. So if your guy's an experienced excavator,
He
he's
is.
already going to have an experience dealing with DOT with driveways. So go tomorrow, get them started, get him involved, and,
Okay.
you know,
Now-
perhaps it can be done before he leaves the site with his machine.
And wear your best lipstick.
Oh, yeah. But also, like, if I came back in here like 3, 4 days, could I get a building permit like right away?
So we're not the building permit department, that would be him.
Do I have to go wait for
But this
that?
is,
So Suzanne has outlined the risks and
Right.
talked about the risks that are involved. Can Ms. Harrington get a building permit and then pursue this?
No.
on the?
I believe she can, because she
I
has
don't
to
think she should.
coordinate, which means if she gets a building permit, it goes into the office. I don't know how many days it'll take Jason to review it to approve it, but it's going to be
Okay,
a week or two.
so what you're saying is she can get a paper permit.
Yeah.
All right, that's what you're saying. She can get a paper permit, but there again, she's at her own risk.
I know,
If she
you've made that
starts
clear.
building,
Right.
and the state doesn't come through for you.
I mean, there's a lot of groundwork that still has to be done. So there's another probably month of excavation work before you start putting concrete in the ground. Septic system.
See, that's where I'm confused. I mean, if they want it flared at the end, I don't see that being,
Don't panic over that. That's my estimated
You
guess.
need to go ask.
yeah. I mean, I got my septic guy, I've got the whole excavation, I've got the water line, I got all that, we're all ready to go. But that's, okay, I will do that. I will do that all day Thursday, I think I can do that, or Wednesday.
And
But-
again, we require it because we don't want people building and then find out half-built that they have this requirement that they, it's up to the state as to what
But
they
if
want
they
there.
gave me like, okay, like we're saying, like a permit to, this is what we want done, and it's not completed, but you have that piece of paper, that's okay, I could get my building permit with that?
Right,
I don't know. That's for
over
him to
there.
answer.
yeah.
If you have a DOT driveway permit, that will not stop you from getting a permit, but there's not even an application at the moment, so.
Right. That doesn't say that you have to have it done before your permit. It means you have to
I'll
have
see what they have.
approval. Yeah.
Okay, I guess, I mean, I have no choice in the matter at this point. I just have to move forward with it.
Okay. So, thank you. Can I close the public meeting again?
So
Yes.
moved.
Yes.
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 Would somebody like to, do you want to make a motion
yeah,
with the things that you'd like on there?
Yeah, I would make a motion to extend the, what the heck is it?
Special exception.
For case number, are we using this one? No.
No, the earlier one.
Oh, yeah, it was case number 02 SE 22. Now it's 09 SE 24.
We're not changing it. We're just
You're
extending
extending the
it.
old one.
Huh?
Oh, we're extending
So
the old.
we're,
So we're going to keep the same number? Okay.
All right. For the applicant to receive approval with conditions. The condition precedent of approval is one, applicant shall coordinate as required with New Hampshire DOT regarding the driveway access to South Main Street / Route 28. 2, the applicant shall endorse acknowledgement regarding issuance of a building permit on a private way and record such at the Registry of Deeds. 3, the applicant shall endorse acknowledgement regarding ineligibility for subdivision, which is no big deal, and record such at the Registry of Deeds. This property shall be limited to construction of a single-family home, and the plans included as part of this application are hereby incorporated as part of the approval as amended to the date of this approval. 2, special exception shall be valid if exercised within 2 years from the date of this extension, or as further extended by local ordinance or by the Zoning Board of Adjustment for good cause. And 3, the notice of decision shall be recorded at the Carroll County Register of Deeds, and the applicant shall pay recording fees. I don't think under subsequent there was anything that I had. This one?
That's,
I think
You
I
did that.
read that from this one here. all
yeah,
longer,
yeah, okay, yep, you got it.
So
I second that.
okay, I think that covers it.
Oh, so that was a motion, and I'll second the motion.
You seconded it.
Are we going to do discussion?
Oh, do you want discussion?
Well, I just have a question,
Yeah.
because it keeps coming up. So she is at risk if she goes right ahead and starts building and all, just in case DOT doesn't give her what she wants, or it takes longer, but as long as she's in the process, my first question is if she gets this in writing, that DOT, that they're working on something, Tavis, does she have to have that finalized, or just be able to show that she's coordinating with DOT to get it solved?
Well, for the board discussion, the concern seems to be that DOT might require something extravagant. I don't know what DOT will authorize. Typically, as long as someone has a driveway permit, we do not hold up issuance of a building permit. But She may wish to wait until she has that permit in hand to find out what she's going to be required to do before starting site work.
And of course, the risk for her is that she loses all her contractors. I suppose if she gets it built and then DOT doesn't come through, I guess she'd have a good case to go sue the crap out of that realtor and some of the other people that told her she had a
So
buildable lot.
for the board's edification, I've printed out all the websites that she's going to need so that she has the form and she has something in her hand when she goes to DOT to start that discussion. I've printed out the 2 acknowledgements. They're downstairs. I can get them to her so she can square that away tomorrow. It sounds like if the motion is voted on, then we'll create a new NOD referring to as an extension modifying the conditions as discussed tonight. I just want to make sure everyone's agreeing with that.
Right,
Okay.
and she, I mean, it is, as anybody moves forward before the conditions are met, it is always at their own risk, so that's not unusual.
Well,
I just
think
have
we
one question.
Said that.
I
have a question
Kate has
for,
a
I
question.
just wanted to add one thing. I know that we said that it's good for 2 years, but is there any way it can be put on in writing on the paperwork that this expires from 2 years of the date of the decision?
She said that.
Oh, okay, I
Yep.
didn't see it, I didn't hear you. Thanks.
I just have one question for you, Tavis. Is it realistic to imagine that a building permit could be issued to Ms. Harrington in, say, a week or 10 days? Is that potential?
I don't know. We haven't even seen an application yet.
Okay. Okay.
May I clarify that the forms you're sending her that have to do with the Department of Transportation, so she goes to them Tuesday, they fill out whatever you're sending her that they need to fill out, that is all she's going to need to come back to you with?
No, what I've been saying is that...
No, I mean, as regards to the DOT.
Well, you can turn in an application, but it is not going to help anybody if we give her a building permit before she has a driveway application or a driveway permit. So until she gets a right-of-way permit.
So you're saying she's going to need that driveway permit before you're going to give her a building permit?
Correct.
Yes.
So that's probably not going to happen in her time frame.
Well,
We don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, it's not.
But just
And
so,
I'd just like to call to your attention so that we feel comfortable doing what we're doing, that 41.2, compliance with terms of permit. This is our ordinance. It shall be unlawful to construct or alter in any way that substantially affects the size or grade of any driveway, entrance, exit, or approach when the limits of the right-of-way of a Class 1, 2, or 3 highway, state-maintained portion of a Class 2 highway, or any town street that does not conform to the terms of specification of written permit issued by the Board of Selectmen or its duly authorized agent. So this is nothing new. Driveway permits maybe have gotten kind of a backhanded look, but it's something that needs to be followed. It's for safety. It's not for being pretty.
Well,
The fact is, it's a pre-existing driveway, not a brand-new virgin driveway.
But it's a new dwelling, so...
I know,
yeah.
but I was,
Something's changing on the internal lot.
right, I got that.
That's triggering this.
I don't need you to tell me that, I got that. But my question is, if it's a pre-existing driveway, is that something that will make it easier for this process to happen at DOT, or because...
Let me answer that. Let me answer
How do you
that.
know? How do you know?
Let me answer that, because as I look down here, 41.3, permits required. Pursuant to this section, a written construction permit application must be obtained from and filed with the affected party, whoever it is, the Board of Selectmen or the road agent or whoever, by the provisions of, before any construction or alteration work is commenced, said permit application shall have been reviewed and a construction permit issued.
That wasn't my question. That wasn't my question. I was just referring to time span needed by DOT to process a driveway permit, and if it was a longer process for a virgin driveway than it is for a pre-existing driveway. That was my question. It had nothing to do with that. And I guess DOT may be the only one that knows, but I didn't know if Tavis was familiar with buildings for pre-existing driveways versus buildings with no driveway, and if there was any difference in the time span from DOT.
Sometimes.
Okay?
You have to remember, DOT's rules talk about spacing between driveways given the prevailing traffic speed and
I
everything
know,
else.
but
So-
that's already been determined by this pre-existing driveway.
Well, the fact that there is a driveway means the state can't take it away, but that doesn't limit what they hold it to become safe under the current standards.
Well, I think I heard two different things, so maybe somebody can clarify. It says the applicant shall coordinate as required with DOT regarding the driveway access, but that was not required in order to get a building permit. You just have to coordinate, contact, and continue.
According to our approval, but
But
not
not according to
necessarily
his
other
approval, though.
ordinances.
Oh, so the other one, so there's no building permit without a driveway permit?
Even if they don't come here, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, because this is new to three of you.
Four of us,
kinda.
maybe.
So,
Yeah. It's new to me, so I have a question, just as, maybe a naive question. It's not, the driveway is not even on her property. Is it her responsibility?
well, we did discuss all this, and it got recorded on the last notice of decision. We're just reinforcing that.
Okay.
And the waivers for release of indemnification, the things I said, the acknowledgement documents that record a registry, it says why. The landowner must execute and record release and indemnification agreement prior to issuing of the building permit. This is nothing new. This is all done, in essence, it protects the builder, the applicant, and it protects the town. It's necessary to protect the town from potential liability. This is not to be, as I said, pretty. It's to be safe and legal. So, anyway, I'm done. Can we move the question? You seconded it.
I did. Anybody else have comments? If not, Jody, what do you say?
Yes.
Yes.
Suzanne, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Good luck tomorrow
Good luck.
in Concord.
Got a lot of work to do, so
Get a hold of your excavator. He may give some hints. He may have a brother who works for the state.
I like your house. It's a cute house. Is it called a tiny house? Or is it, I mean, I don't know what.
We're done talking now. Tell them to
Cute.
stop.
Oh, it's cute.
Well, good luck.
Right, of course, you'll have to disclose that when you sell it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think we should stop offering advice outside of
Yeah.
our daily
Do
work.
you want to do minutes?
We've gone far
Does
afield.
anybody want to do minutes?
I do.
Thank you, good luck, and welcome to
Bye.
Wolfeboro.
I want to do,
I'm going to go hand her paperwork unless you need me
Okay.
for something.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Well, somebody's got to vote on the minute approvals.
I want to move to approve the minutes of May 20th, 24,
Hang on.
Yeah.
Second,
which you won't be
May.
voting on.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And this is to do with that last case we had over there on corner of Libby Street. I'd like to get these minutes out of the way so that they're current and,
Second right here.
huh?
She seconded.
Oh, okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes of May 20th, 24, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Aye, okay.
I've lost.
As far as the other ones, that's up to you, Audrey.
Well, I seem to have completely lost all my minutes. And I know I walked in here with them, so Suzanne, I think you maybe have my minutes.
Oh, don't blame me.
I don't have all those minutes with me.
I don't have them.
Oh, dear.
I would move to accept the minutes of,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I had corrections on some of mine. I've been carrying them around to
Get an
meetings for
agenda.
months, and we've never done anything with them, so I just didn't have them with me
the
tonight.
agenda.
You have yours, Jody?
What the,
Older minutes?
I don't know what I did with mine.
Two for March and one for April.
I might have one.
I don't, I left that all
Yeah, I
alone.
got it. I would move, I got it, thank you. I'd move to accept the minutes for recording purposes of 3/4, 3/21, 4/1, and we've just done 5/20.
Yeah. Audrey, I'd like to request that we put these off till our next meeting and request that we have a set of each of these in our packet. I'm pretty sure I have corrections on them, and I will not agree to accept them
No, I thought
tonight.
we did get them in our packet. But
Not
did you
this packet.
Okay.
I only have
I
one
must have
set.
collected them from before then. So, yeah, I think,
What are the dates?
if you
again?
think you have
March
minutes.
4th,
I've got
March
March 4th
21st.
right here. Do you want to see March 4th?
I wouldn't have my
March 4th
corrections
and
marked on
March
them.
21st and April 1st.
I don't have my corrections marked on
Sorry.
them. Yes.
They still can be amended after we accept them if there's something
What's the
major.
rush? After all this time, what's the rush?
To get them out of the way, they're kind of stacking up.
But
It's
if
kind of
they,
nice to
if they
get 'em
come
out of the
back,
way.
then that's not getting them out of the way.
Yeah.
I motioned for recording purposes, so if there's an issue with a set, bring it forward to the next meeting and correct it. We go too long between minutes not being accepted.
I would respectfully request that we ask Tavis to put them in our packets the next time, so that everybody has a copy. I will look up my old minutes and bring it with me, but I know I've done markups on some of our minutes that aren't approved.
I think we should wait. But your point's well taken. We tend to finish the night without doing minutes, but I think we need them, and
There is a motion on the floor, so you need to
It
vote on
wasn't
it.
seconded.
has not been seconded.
She seconded it.
Did you second it?
No, which motion?
To
To accept
approve
the minutes.
I did, yes.
Okay. So
Call a vote.
call the vote. Jody,
To accept the minutes?
do you want to accept them or wait until next month?
I would accept them now.
Next month or next time, next meeting?
No.
Because Sarah believes she has changes.
Yep.
Well, call a vote. If it goes down, it
That's
goes
what I
down.
am.
He's a yes.
I'm a
I'm a
yes.
no.
What is the yes for?
To
Yeah,
accept
to
them.
accept
To
them.
accept
Yeah.
them? Okay. Sarah?
Accept, oh, she's,
Nope.
yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Okay, passes. They're accepted.
Fair enough.
Would you-
So if Sarah has changes on it, then you can bring those
Did she
minutes up
vote?
again.
Did you
Yes.
vote yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
3 yeses.
Yeah, it was three,
That's what I
I
said.
thought you said it failed.
No,
it was 3-2.
you're hearing things.
No.
I don't know if moving the tables
That would
is
be
helping
nice.
us that much with our hearing.
Is there any new business?
Yes, I have new business.
What is your new business?
Oh, it is there.
We have, this should be not involving you for the moment?
Okay, I'll slide my chair back.
Okay, that's
You want me to go sit in the
sufficient?
audience?
No, you stay right there. We have a written email, I guess it was, Tavis?
Received an email indicating that the town would be receiving a request for rehearing on the 71 North Main appeal.
So the question is, when do we want to schedule that? The question is, when do we want to schedule that meeting to determine if we want to rehear the case from Diane, what was her name?
Bainton.
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 You'll
Is there
have
an-
30 days. I will let Suzanne know, unless you want it done otherwise. I will let Suzanne know when the signed request for rehearing comes in. From that date, you will have 30 days to determine if you want to grant a rehearing. And once you do that, you then need to set a date for that rehearing, if you decide to rehear.
So we could schedule a date to hear it, doesn't mean we will end up voting to hear it. So July, first meeting in July, we could schedule to hear it.
Well, if it comes in, yes.
Well, we assume that it will
I would
from your
think, yes.
email that you sent me, that she sent it in.
Yeah, so the question I sent Suzanne earlier was, do you want to do a separate meeting or do you want to do a regular meeting? Since it hasn't actually come in yet, I think you're fine to just move it to
I
your
would
July meeting.
suggest we
Yeah.
do it the first meeting in July when the paperwork is in.
I think so, yes.
If it comes in, so.
I'm a yes on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there's no urgency.
What,
There's no urgency on her part that we know of to do it before July.
no, the urgency was that she gets it in within 30 days, and she did.
Okay, right. So but there's no urgency for us to hear it, really, okay? Or make a decision.
Is that
we have
okay, the
30
first
days to
meeting
make the
in
decision.
July for those who can be in attendance? Yeah, okay, I see heads going this way.
Yes,
Okay,
so,
put that on your calendar. That's the only new business I had.
So the date of that is,
First meeting in July.
I know,
I
the
don't
date
know.
is,
The first.
right,
July 1.
It's actually July 1?
yes.
Okay.
And the work meeting, we have a work meeting scheduled, is that correct?
The 20th,
Of June?
yes.
And we are going, is our work the rules of procedure?
Yep.
What time is it?
Our
on
work- our
June
work
6:30.
meeting.
6:30, and where is it going to be?
Here.
In this room where we can't hear each
Well, I
other?
don't know what room, in this building.
Typically in the library, in the downstairs planning office.
It's 6, right? 6 to 8.
30.
At least that way we can hear each other.
6:30.
6:30 on the
Or
20th.
is it 6:30?
No, it's 6.
That's what we've been
Sorry,
doing.
6.
6 to 8, yeah.
Oh, did you say 6?
6:30, 6.
6:30.
6:20 at
Can
6.
we do 6?
Gotcha. When it's 6:20
Hold on,
at
that
6.
might be hard for Sarah at 6.
Yeah, I have a hazardous
always
waste
have it at
training, but I
6.
think I can get there by 6.
She doesn't get home from
6:20
work.
at 6.
So,
Yeah, the
that's a
training was supposed to
workshop,
be
right?
the 6th of June, and they changed it to the 20th.
My calendar's doing something weird.
What do you think, Woody? What do you
Yeah, I
wanna
can do 6.
6, yeah? Okay, 6. Okay.
Okay, what else we got?
At the last meeting, you requested that appointment of officers be on the agenda. I don't know if you want to move that out or deal with it tonight.
Let's bite the bullet and pull the trigger.
Usually we do it in March.
let's do it.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Suzanne as chair, just because usually most boards rotate around, and we haven't for a while.
I'll second that.
Would you
Who's
repeat what
chairing
you said?
now?
I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry?
So,
I said, who is chairing now, right now? Everybody's
Oh,
like
no.
looking
All you
puzzled.
need
I
is
was,
vote.
I can't hear you.
so
So is there a second?
Suzanne nominated Suzanne for chair, and Jody seconded,
Okay.
is what I heard. Okay, Jody, you
So-
get the vote. But is there a discussion?
Well,
Are there other nominations?
Well,
I'm
normally you would
may
vote
I
on this one, and
clarify?
then if this did not pass, you would nominate another.
May I just clarify that as an alternate, we don't have a vote in this, correct?
Correct. Sad but true.
so I would vote for Suzanne.
Yes.
Vote yes.
I'll vote for myself.
Okay, it's Suzanne.
Okay.
That's 5. Vice chair,
Thank you.
does somebody want to nominate?
Nominate
I
Audrey.
nominate Audrey.
Is there, okay, one of you needs to nominate, and one of you needs to second.
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 All in favor?
Jody Kate, good enough for,
I have no idea who
Okay, I
seconded.
heard seconds all over the
Oh,
place, so
I said second. I didn't
Okay.
hear anybody else. That doesn't mean somebody
All right.
else didn't say it.
that's it, you're good.
Kate?
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
Yes?
yes.
Yes?
Okay. Clerk,
I'll make a motion to...
May I say something?
I'll make a motion to...
let's finish.
I'll make a motion to nominate Sarah Silk to retake the position of clerk. She's done a
She's a good
bang-up
job.
I'll second that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Second that. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I say something now?
Yes.
I just want to thank Audrey
You're welcome.
for her leadership, and you've done a phenomenal job for quite a few years here, keeping us on track and doing the research and all the hard work.
Hey, I'm not retiring.
I know,
mean, you're
but
sending me
now
out.
it's going to be more in
Don't give me the
Suzanne's lap.
cane and the rocking
I
chair.
mean, but it
she's
is going to
gonna
be
be-
more in Suzanne's lap to do
Well,
some of
Suzanne has done
the.
a wonderful job filling in.
But she'll be
the
right there
days
as
I worked here,
voice.
so
I know, but I just want to
She's gonna be
thank
right
you to
You're
make
welcome.
sure we all recognize that.
I will still be giving you my opinion. Like
And Suzanne, I'm sorry
she'll
that
be
you got all
riding-
this extra work.
She'll be riding shotgun.
Yeah,
I
she's gonna be
know.
right there.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Yes. Second.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Tavis, while you were gone, we did accept one set of minutes.